Hey, in this episode, we're going to be talking about a spotted kitty, leopard.
Leopards.
We'll be right back.
See you soon. Welcome back to the show, Southern Oregon Safaris.
We're Buffalo Roam.
And my name's Hayden.
I'm Jerry.
And in this episode, we're talking about leopards.
You had a leopard.
I have a leopard.
You have a leopard.
Have a leopard.
What kind of leopard? Boy or girl?
Boy. Male.
A male leopard.
Male leopard.
How old is he?
Cairo is now 12-ish, I believe. Getting up there.
Cairo. Nice name.
Yeah. Well, what do you
goes with Khufu.
My wife calls him Snuggles, and he hates that. You wouldn't think a cat would know, but you know, she talks baby talk and goes Snuggles, and he just like,
oh, she.
If he could roll his eyes up in his head, he'd roll his eyes up in his head. He's like, I'm not a Snuggles, I'm a killer. At least in his mind, he is. He thinks he's a killer. He's actually a really good boy, though.
Oh, good.
But he's a leopard. And leopards are the most intense cats, basically. I mean, they are pound for pound. They got an amazing power, and they're one of the more intense of all the cats.
In a previous episode, we discussed working with tigers. How does working with a leopard compared with working with that Siberian tiger you had?
Well, the Siberian tiger was way more laid back, but that was just her personality. It wasn't because she was a tiger. She was just a great tiger. She was just really mellow. I just really lucked out with her genetics. She just was a very laid back animal, and I handled her the right way, and I made her, she was already great, and I made her even better by just, I'm not floating my boat. I'm just saying that basically, you could take a really great tiger or you could take any great animal that's got a great, solid, mindset and ruin that. Any idiot can ruin a good animal in a minute, and anybody can take but very few people can take a bad animal and make it good. You follow what I'm saying? If an animal already starts out with bad behaviors and bad thoughts in their head, I don't care how good you are, it's really hard to break those things. So I just really lucked out. She was a great tiger to start with, and just I handled it the right way, and we had a wonderful relationship for many, many years.
And the panther was a little bit more...
Leopard is a lot more intense.
The leopard.
They're very... it's like having 10 little ADD, ADHD kids in one body. They just are all over the place. And he's especially... he's quite ADD. Like, his brain is floating everywhere. He's looking like squirrel. He's like... His eyes are... They're so visually excitable. So everything that's going on is stimuli to them. They're stimulated by everything going on.
You worked that cat too in the industry?
Oh yeah, the leopard. I work in the industry, in the film industry. In fact, we worked on last year. I was in Utah for a couple weeks. We shot 1923, which is part of the. I'm sorry, it was yeah. Was that
with Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren?
Yeah. So there's the whole Yellowstone trilogy, or that
yes,
whole thing.
Yes.
So we worked on one of those, and I'm trying to think. It was 1923 worked on, and so there's a scene where this guy Brandon, who's the actor, they were in Africa, and the leopard sneaks into the campsite and starts killing people, and he winds up dispatching that leopard in the movie. So we worked on that for a couple weeks. And so, that was the last thing that we did. A lot of intense work with him, and he's a really great boy, and he's a really great worker, but he is very intense. His mind is all over the place. It's really hard to get him to focus. I mean, he's just watching everything, and he's just super excitable and easily excitable, and so his body doesn't stop moving. The tiger would stand there and relax or lay down and just be chilled out and just relax and enjoy the day for hours, where the leopard, if you don't keep his brain going and keep him focused on you, he's all over the place. And so he's a lot more challenged to work around. He's a real pleasure to be around, but he's a lot of work. He's not my easiest animal.
Was it fairly easy or difficult working on the Vogue shoot with Scarlett Johansson and what's that guy's name?
Mark
Ruffalo?
Yeah.
The Hulk.
Yeah, he was young then.
Yeah.
But the younger the leopard, the harder. Back then, he was all over the place, and he had very little training on him. He was just getting used to working in that environment. So we're inside of this building where there's a grand piano and a bar, and so certainly he jumps
All
up on
kinds
the
of
bar and he's
stimulation.
swiping stuff off the counters like a cat would do, and he was just really having a great time. So at that point, when they're that age, especially, that was some of his first works that he ever did. He worked on a Chico shoot for Chico fashion shoots. We did a lot of fashion shoots when he was a baby, but it's a lot easier on fashion shoots because you're working with a still camera, so you can get rid of all the other chaos that's going on around between each shot. So you get them to focus for a second, you get 2 or 3 shots, then you let them play for a minute, and then you pull them back in, get their attention for a second with a feathered toy or something, and they look at it, they snap a few more shots, and then you let them back to what they're doing. And so that's how you start them out, and the fashion shoots are great for that because you can skip out, video shows everything.
Yes.
Still photos, you can crop out all the bad shots.
So he's still available for work.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you said, you just worked last year for the Yellowstone features.
Yes, yeah. So he's down in Southern California. I have a friend down in Southern California. They take really good care of him for me down there. I keep him down there because of the California licensing and all the film works down there. And so getting animals in and out of California with the new laws are just near impossible. So he stays down there on a really nice ranch that I worked at when I was a kid.
Okay.
Just his really good hands. The people there love him, adore him, take really good care of him. He gets worked daily. He gets fed amazing, and he's living in heaven over there. And he's got other cats to hang out with. So that's worked out really well for me. So he's staying down there on that ranch, and I go down there often to deal with them and help. When there's work, I go down there and I go visit them. And like I said, the people that I left them in their hands, they're the greatest people, and they're super experienced, and they really know how to handle animals like that. So
since he's still available for work, Hayden, get a hold of Hayden. I'm leaving all the information down in the description below on you getting a hold of Hayden directly for work. But if for tours of the facility here at Southern Oregon Safari, there is a link to a company that he's linked up with. That
Southern Oregon Wilderness Adventures.
Yeah, they will facilitate that tour for you guys.
Yeah.
Epic, leopard, beautiful creature.
Yeah,
I just can't stop looking at it because it's just mesmerizing.
Yeah, not for everybody. A lot of guys that work big cats just refuse to work leopards because they're a handful. They are, but they're really neat animals.
Good to know.
So
good to know. And you keep them in cages built kind of like the ones where you have kufu.
Yeah, and then they have big turnout areas over there, and so that ranch is really neat because that's a film. That's actually a working animal film ranch there.
Gotcha.
And so they have these giant turnout arenas with 16-foot tall chain link, and they're very large areas with ponds and lakes, all kinds of stuff to basically for the animals to play with.
So he can just go out and be a cat.
Lots of enricchment, and so it's great. They got all these toys and waterfalls and all this stuff. And the cats have a great time over there. It's like a camp for them over there. So that's because it's really a working movie ranch over there.
Gotcha.
And so there's just a lot for the cat to do. And so when we're doing some filming, sometimes they'll cut them into these arenas, and that way the camera can just stick a lens through a fence hole and shoot the cat just running and jumping and doing all their things, climbing trees, stuff like that. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Pleasure.
A leopard.
Leopard.
Of all things, a leopard.
Who thought?
Yeah, who thunk?
Who thunked? Exactly.
Well, I want to thank you for sharing that adventure with us.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more adventures right here at Southern Oregon Safari.
And we're the Buffalo Roam.
I'm Jerry.
I'm Hayden.
We'll see you guys in our next episode. We've got some more animals we're going to be talking about.
We'll find something, right?
Oh, I found something, a couple of things we want to talk about. We still got to talk about a bear, and we still got to talk about lion.
Lion and bear.
We'll see you guys later.
See you soon.